you tend to want to look at where the certain banks are that, how
Yeah.
certain monies, you're going to probably find your services around there as well.
It's like with us, it's like, so you phone me, is it? It's like, well, what are you doing? Like, so you've seen something that we do, as in, like something I'm not medically qualified, but what I do have is 35 years working with and around professional athletes, and that's like half of it. Because the girl came in from Liverpool the other day, and she had a run for 5 months. So I'm like, all right, knows whatsoever. And looking at her hip and TFL and rec fem and vastus, like they're looking at all the muscles and this, like, no, I got on the bars like, well, your left hip's tight. I mean, it's over tight, yeah. I swear I rubbed the left hip for half an hour and got to run down the dock. She's like, nobody's ever looked at my left hip. Yeah, but that's why they're stupid, aren't they? They don't understand how the body works. Your body needs balance. You're tighter on your left, so your right is compensating more. So I said, what do you mean? Well, if you get a level out, you go out, where's the pressure going? I said, well, to the left. You're right. I said, well, yeah, of course it is. You balance it out. Where's the pressure going? Well, it's even. So, well, it takes the pain away, doesn't it? So I then treated her. Anyway, she ran down the dock pain free. Then, like 3 sessions later, she's back playing for the first team. She's an Australian. She's Australian.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's an Australian girl and stuff. Like she's come over and she's playing for Liverpool. But she's only 17. She's a kid, but like training with the first team now. She sent me a message the other day. I said, "You don't need me anymore. No, you don't have to come in. Go and train. Go and do your stuff." Rehab was working. Didn't do the right stuff.
That's
Calf impingement. So you're going to lateral calf, medial calf. Weren't working. More on the medials, which is L5, S1, SR joint. Got that working, so it's going to put pressure from medial because we get one side always medial and the other side's always lateral. On it. If you get an impingement, you look at the body. You'll always get your body's just pelvis, SI joint, glute, L5, S1, all that kind of thing. You look at them all. That's tighter. Why is it reacting? So you look at the shoulder. You look at the body as a whole. So both shoulders, both quads, both hammers. You always get. Yeah, that's why you get a shoulder issue. You get anterior and you get posterior, don't you? That's a lower leg injury as well. You check the lower leg. Have you ever think, oh yeah, I broke my leg when I was 3? Well, you're gonna still have a opposite shoulder injury.
This is what I was very excited to speak to you about. So, and it's a nice little segue plus introduction to what it is that you do as a kinetic therapist, owner and creator of it. So once again, thank you for actually speaking with us about this as well. But I thought you might want to give people that have literally never heard of this beforehand an overview of exactly what it is that you're talking about. Because we dived into the weeds, but what is kinetic therapy? What is it that you do?
Basically, kinetic therapy is what my experience, because I'm not medically trained, it's my experience of Gua Sha. Gua Sha is obviously 5,000 years old, so we look at the body as a whole, not just the. So you come in with a shoulder injury, and I go, yeah, your shoulders is impinged and stuff like that because you rotator cuffs every talks about that. That's why you look at the body as a whole. So you might have a lower leg or a previous broken leg 10, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. So I look at that as a primary. So your shoulder is reacting to the lower leg. So you get a shoulder impingement, a rotator cuff injury. It's always T-spine, and that means it's a quad or a hamstring injury. So your hamstring, quad calf is always causing your shoulder to be imbalanced, and without reacting just purely to the shoulder, you've got to look at the body as a whole. So that's how I treat your shoulder. And like you've seen in the seminar, what I did, I was like, that hamstring needs treating. So no, the hamstring's not working and stuff. Just not just glute work, but the whole body as a whole, like the lateral aspect, your pronus longus, lateral calf, that controls the whole body and stuff. That we see it time and time again, neck injuries where it's a calf or a hamstring injury.
So what about when people tell you, like, oh, yeah, I've had an injury, but, that was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and this injury is relatively new.
Yeah, we get all the time. It's been ages ago, and the doctor said, oh, I've had a cartilage operation. Yeah, you're one of thousands and thousands of cartilage operations that don't work because you're not addressing the knee injury. I've got an injury. I've got quite a few clients and stuff with no ACL who can still squat 200 kilos and deadlift 200 kilos, some of the best in the country and stuff like that. So, and they keep saying you need an ACL doing. You don't need an ACL doing. You don't go to the garage and say, "Can you find something wrong with a car?" and stuff like that. Knee surgery is serious stuff. It's like, especially having ACL, it's a bad operation to have and stuff like that. So, but we can get the priority. Depends if you're going to go back into pro sport, doesn't it? Like, so if you daily life, I can get an ACL moving and get you back into life and stuff like that. As long as you're not going to run, jump, and all the rest, you can still squat and deadlift and move really free. But if you're going to go 15-mile run every other day, well, yeah, you're going to have to seriously think about like your rehab and where you want to be. Like so, but the whole body is connected. Everything's connected together. So your shoulders, legs, everything. So you get like one shoulder, and obviously you get a niggle on the other shoulder because your scap's move independently, don't they? And we get one problem, it'll put pressure away through to the other one. Then your hip gets tight. Then the opposite hamstring gets tight because your body's trying to shift pressure constantly. It's evenly balanced. So we look at the body as a whole and stuff like that. But the biggest thing that you've seen when you came to us is the tools. The tools make a huge difference. Now it took me 10 years to make them, didn't it? So
yeah, how did that actually start off? Like, how did you?
I bought tools like you. I bought them online from obviously China and India and stuff like that. And you just like, these are not good enough because I'm rubbing so hard. The amount of energy we've taken to actually do it. So somebody said like, why don't you try and make your own? I was like, that was like 17 manufacturers later. I've just been today to Halifax, and he hand makes the tools and stuff like that, 3 or 4 surgical British steel. So when you're getting Gua Sha done, always ask what is in that steel, because you don't want cross contamination. Because obviously we look at safety as a paramount and stuff like that. So when you look at Gua Sha, we use surgical British steel only. It's handmade, hand polished. I can take it you all the way through the process. I know the people that do it and stuff. That's why I hand test like your tool today. I've gone through that and make sure that's good enough for you. It's good enough for me. And it's like it was one I was using as well. So then I pass that on to the therapist as well. But I handpick the therapist as well. So
Because you were saying before that, so this was a 10-year process to
yeah,
develop
yeah,
these tools. But what was like the origin story? Because again, this is something that you've essentially slowly built yourself.
yeah.
How did it kick off
'Cause
for
I
you?
was injured. I was injured playing rugby. I played professional rugby for 17 years. Then I played for Warrington Wolves, Workington. I played 10 years of First Division. So I've seen it all from physiotherapists, and it's like when you see it all, you've been in it. You as an athlete, anybody will tell you the same thing. As an athlete, you're trying to get pain free as quick as possible. It's not a 6 week program. You want it now. What's the quickest way? Kinetic therapy is the quickest way to get you back up and running. Like anything else and stuff like that. The professional athletes behind me could go through all of them. They've all been to specialists. They've all been doing different things and stuff like that. So then they come to me and I got, yeah, it's that easy. And half an hour, like Matty came in last week. Matty's played 500 Super League games, and he came in with a back injury and stuff like he had a disc operation and stuff that didn't work. So it took me 3 sessions. Well, his IT bands were tight, so constantly he's going to get pressure in there. So they've cut the disc and stuff like that. And it still didn't work. So we had him back and running 3 sessions. He came into the week. He'd been off, been seeing the physio. Nothing came from it. So he's had a grade 2 hamstring tear. So I did his opposite quad, did his hamstring. Said, how do you feel after he played at the weekend? He said, mate, I was on about retiring and about kind of come in every month next year and stuff like that. So he's playing for Oldham now. He played for Saints and Wigan. So kind of come in every month. I said, of course you can. He said, like, I forgot how good this is and stuff like that. So it's like I said, I know we're coming in every month, every 3 weeks. I can play and continue, but he's in great condition. Does his rehab, doesn't lift really heavy. He's not ego, no. He's 35, 36. But if you play 5 in professional rugby games, professional level and stuff like that, Super League, you're a Captain Wakefield.
Mm.
So he's one of many. Like one of the girls texted me today, she's 15 times British champion. She's 50. She came in for an impingement and stuff in the calf and stuff like that. So I said, like, your calf's ruined, blah, blah. So I did the opposite hip again, came into the calf. And she ran at weekend and stuff like that. So she texts me. We keep in contact and stuff like that. So all my athletes making sure, because I get a buzz out of that.
Mm.
It's not just the money. It's not just like me being like, oh, I can fix it. It's like I get it because I never had that. I never had actually somebody behind me. I had to retire from a spinal injury that nobody knew nothing about. I actually flew to Australia to see a physio over there. I did all the reading. It's not done. I was disappointed again, like so. But no, came from that from frustration. And I was like, well, I'll have a go myself. I was a clever athlete, really good times, could lift heavy. So I just started reading, learning YouTube days. I came across a guy called Eric Cressy. He did the Grafton technique on somebody, but he did differently. He actually really good guy. I could kick him with the tools. I'm like, that's me. I just thought, well, it can be done like that.
Mm.
And he was a really good essence, and he still is and stuff like that. So, but as I saw him that it can be done, so the journey started. Then I bought myself a Chinese tool, started doing that. Then 17 manufacturers later, we have some of the best tools in the world, and they're heavy. You've seen them, you've used them in the
Mm.
seminar. So it's like,
What's the difference in the clinical experience that you've seen from the early days of both your understanding, your assessment,
it's huge.
and the
It
tools?
evaluates everything. It's like we get as a bodybuilder, any professional athlete, runner, or as a physio, as a life coach, as a dad, as a father, as a mechanic. You're just going to get better over time
Mm.
because you want to get better. Don't we? It's like just don't see what's in front of you, see what's beyond. Why can't you? Like look at Elon Musk, how clever he is, how he's driven. Like nobody's going to say to him, "You can't be done." He said, "I'll prove you wrong. Just tell me you can't be done." It's the same as me. You'll always have back pain, Steve. Just one of those things. You've played 700 professional rugby games. You're going to be, you're injured. There's nothing you can do and stuff like that. So that was not a good enough excuse for me. I wanted to be pain free, and now at the age of 50, I can squat, I can deadlift. I still have maintenance sessions every week and stuff like that, but I can train 4 days a week and do 25 massages. Where before I couldn't even stand. And every time I couldn't stand up for more than an hour, I'd just be in agony and stuff like that. So
How did you, so like the beginning when you're sort of just trying to piece things together, you're
like
working things
anything,
out, you're
yeah,
doing again,
yeah, yeah,
you're sort of just doing testing essentially and trying to figure out
yeah.
things as you go. And now when you're speaking about issues, it's very clear that you're speaking from like a depth of experience of seeing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same patterns and
It's
breaking
like
through those
if you
patterns,
you
right?
see a bricklayer and stuff like that. So you see like a bricklayer starts off in this. It's not the college qualifications that give. It's just the experience. Like you coming here, you'll gain a wealth of experience. I can see where you're going to be in 5 years and stuff like that. So you're just going to be because you get it. You're strong. You're an athlete, and you're going to get passionate about it. Once you get the treatments yourself, it becomes effective. Greg, who works for me, the muscle scraper, he came to the same thing, and he's great with social media. He's a good. He said, "It's not like work, Steve. I love my job. It is if you can get somebody paying free that's been paying in pain for many many years." But
Mm.
my background isn't like at the age of 12. I was at the gym at the age of 12, so I'm still in the gym at the age of 49. My dad was a bodybuilder, so I was around British and European and world champions in a bodybuilding gym. So it started from there. And you want to know what the best foods are, the best rehab. So this is the same thing as we're looking at bloods now, and that was just saying about food and
Mm.
glycogen levels. And Emil Keith at England Rugby, I treat her. Graham at England Rugby, I treat both of them. They've just won the World Cup, and we're good friends with Amy and stuff like that. So I treat them. So when you're around good psychologists, you're spending an hour, like you'll spend an hour with somebody, you're learning the volume information. You're like, what's your thing? What do you do? And you're like Team Skies, and you try to treat him. You're spending an hour talking. So well, I'll write that down. That's good. That's good information. I'll use that for my clients and that. So
What do you find, again, for this, for people who really don't understand what it is that you're doing here, but like what is the difference between something like what you're doing here compared to other forms of treatment that you've seen so far, whether that be typical physio or just massage, chiro, etc. Like how does this differentiate?
it's the aggressiveness of it. And my background isn't like being a rugby player. It's not like you won't be pussyfooting around a rugby field. You have to be. You've got to go and do it and experience it and stuff like that. So the basic things: get the hands on the tools, and it is aggressive form of massage and stuff like that. So we've got ISTM now, and we've got Gua Sha, which I'm more Gua Sha based because Gua's tool, Sha is the bleeding healing process. So I base mine on Gua Sha more than you see a lot of ISTM. There's no Sha, there's no bleeding there. It just goes a bit red. Ours goes black and blue. That's the healing process that goes on. And don't get me wrong, if you give somebody 1,000 brake horse for a car, you can do some damage. You've got to be articulate and guide and scan. But it's like a plaster. You get some put. How do you get that on the wall? You just got years. And when a lads comes in, he said my dad annoys me. He's 60. He just does a wall in half an hour. Yeah, how does he do it? Just it's experience. He knows because he's doing it in time. This is a trade. It's a trade. What we do, Gua Sha is a trade. Being a physio is a trade. It's like you learn over time what works best for you. This works for British European world champion. If you've got a shoulder impingement, which is not a shoulder problem, you've got a back problem, which is not a back problem. If you only see things as like back pain and being a back problem, you'll never fix it. L5S1 SI joint, spike disc, like scoliosis. It's not a thing. It's always a leg dysfunction around
I was
us.
going to say, yeah, I'd love to sit on that one for a little bit longer because back issues are still, the number
The
one
chronic, yeah,
issue
yeah.
right across the world from a
And if you
musculoskeletal
came into me, I go, yeah,
condition.
it's dead easy. Got on the bed, I'm like, within 30 seconds, like, yeah, I know what's going on.
And how? So, what is your process? If you want to give us a little
Quads
bit
are
of rundown.
primary, and everything that's a secondary. Once you get the quads and the pelvis to balance out, everybody talks about a rotated pelvis, but normally they give you stretches and exercises. Break that down, it activates straight away. If your psoas, iliacus is tight, rec fen's tight, if you can break them, but you need the tools to do it. You can diagnose a car and set the car engine, but you know what you're doing. You know the processes that actually take it out and put it back together. Where I do, or you're coming up, yeah, because I've done it thousands of times. I know the quad's done. I know the calf's not getting signals to it. So you're trying to in squat, we're trying to get heels down, aren't we? Always trying to get heels down, heels down. We're trying loads of rehab, loads. Get the quads moving, it'll bleed down into the calf, so the feet drive downwards. If you have padding, and people, that's why people hunch you over because the psoas is here, like T12, and they fall over. That's why all ladies do that. You're like, no, it's because the quads are tight. Once you know what the body does, it's like it's easy to fix. And it gets exciting as well because you get people and they come in. I've had, like the guy came in the day. He hasn't run in 6 years. He spent 35 minutes with me. He's run first time in 6 years. Like he's aching, he's niggly. I told him to do a couple of miles. Don't do any more than that. Don't do anything like that. Get on the bike, get on the cross trainer, do loads of calf work, hammy work, quad work. Come back in again. And again, it's like I didn't rub his sore calf. I rubbed his opposite here, IT band, because his IT band was tight. His calf was fine. He said my calf was sore to touch. Yeah, but it's constantly being reactive. If you think your hips upwards here and his shoulders here, that has to work to carry them to muscles or body parts together, and it's actually putting pressure through the calf. So I'm like, look at the body as a whole and check and see. Even doing you check the calf and then do the opposite hamstring. I do the opposite lat, the opposite shoulder, and you come back. You go, oh my god, it's loads. Yeah, I didn't guess that, did I? And that's just experience. That's like any ask your mum and stuff like. And it's like ask your dad how they get. So anybody who's got 35 years experience, and that's why you speak to people like ex rugby players or ex professional athletes. You speak to them, and you're like, oh my god, like it's like you. Anybody got 20 years experience, just pin them down, buy them a coffee, buy them a lunch,
Mm.
and have a yarn to them. So something like, how do you get to go? And they go, and they'll tell you the story because they want you to share that information. It's like me, you today. I'm here late o'clock. I've been up since 12, 14 every
Yeah.
day. But I'm like, I want you to share the information. I want you to be good at what you do, then spread the word around Australia, and you will do. Because you've got that passion you've got, your ability to see above and beyond. You've got to pick and choose the team you want around you. Some people like negative feed, listen, be quiet, fuck off. It's simple as that. Like, so it's like you just do my nothing. Just either do as you're told or add to what we already got, this group, or go and just basically fuck off and get away from it. Like, so you've got to have that passion, that drive. And you see good people in sport. We talk about sport and sport athletes, and anybody's good. They're not lonely people. They don't suffer fools, so they don't need other people around them. Like, I don't need anybody around me. I'm quite sufficient on my own and stuff like that. But we've got a good team of us now. It took me 10 years to get 6 of us that are really passionate. And it is the passionate, the driven. It's the same as you and stuff like that. So you have to see that. But being in team sport like I was, playing rugby, you look around the huddle, you're like, yeah, it's going to hurt today, but we're going to have a good go and stuff like that. So, but
Was there a moment in this journey that you sort of realized, like, yes, I'm definitely onto something?
yeah. It was when you start getting results. I was like on a really good physio in Manchester. He was really high up and stuff like that, so he couldn't fix me and stuff like that. But kind of friends with him and stuff like that. So, and you learn. I'm like, and then eventually, I was getting his clients. I'm like, hang on a minute, this is fucking working. This. So I eventually started getting his clients in, Sulphur Reds and stuff like that. So she was a soft tissue therapist there. I knew her, and you just speak to different people. Then you start getting a reputation. Then you think, oh my god, and I've had quite a few from Australia come see me. I've got 4 or 5 now. They'll message you from all over the country, and my staff as well. And I get a buzz out of that as well because I've taught them to do this. Jacob got a message the other day from London about, well done, mate, and stuff like that. So I give him his my clients as well. So we work in teams, but I expect them to step up as well. If I give you a client, you need to step up and do your best and stuff like that. If you can't do it, then ask me so we can move you forward, so we can actually train you in different areas. You're weak in it. Let's train that area so you're not weak in that area. It's like bodybuilding, you got weak calves, train your calves more. This is the same thing as well. You can't do a shoulder, let me know, and I'll take you through the stages of it. And eventually your team's impregnable, then we can actually get, but when they come in and stuff like that. So, but you'll see my videos. When I do the videos, I'll send them to you for free and stuff like that. So, because I want you to be good at it. I
Yeah.
don't just want to take your money off you. I'm like, no, I want you to be absolutely exceptional at it. And then we'll get you to do this in Australia because I'm not going to come across. I've been there 4 times. That flight kills me.
Sure, I'll top that for you.
He could fly, put me in a cargo hold and put an injection in me later. But yeah, but I said, I'll be okay. I said, but I'm 19 stone now. So, but in things sense, no, I want you to be good at it. So, look, the ideal thing is like when I'm gone, I'm passing stuff like that. So I leave the planet as in, but we'll leave an amazing technique so that we can get pain free without taking pills and scans and tablets. And it's dead simple as well. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. People say back pain's hard. It's only hard if you see it being hard. So your brain thinks that way. But you have to think, well, no, we're going to get this and stuff. Then we'll get my client fixed. My mate said I had a nutrition at rugby. Ground's worked with all kinds of teams and stuff like that. So he's top of his field, Professor Close. And he said, like, it's not like you come to Steve and it's not like because he does know what he's doing and stuff like that, but he's empathetic. And I generally believe I can fix everybody. You come in my room, I was like, right, I'm going to fix you today. What have you had? That's rubbish, that's shit. Forget everything. Get everything at the door. Come in. We'll give you a rehab. We'll get everything moving. We're going to use these tools. We're going to get you moving. And I tell them before what I'm looking for. If you've got anterior deltoid, your posterior, your rotator cuffs will be balanced behind your scapula and stuff. That's all your rhomboids there, your shrugs are there. As in, where the insertion point is the other spasm there. You have a spasm in your hip. They go, oh my God, yeah, good guess. Yeah, good guess. Yeah, you've got everything I'm looking for. Yeah, you're going to calm down now. And they go, oh my God, that's why people do. You've seen the videos of, I can move my shoulder, yeah, because we don't guess. If you go to somebody who's giving you loads of exercise comes second. Primary is to break down scar tissue, lengthen the fascia, get blood in there. Then we can get food and exercise in there. If you're in pain, you don't want to move your arm. It's more painful. If we
Yeah.
get you pain free, then convince you that it does work.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things that
If you're in
is
pain,
getting missed a little bit, particularly in physio in Australia, is just it goes little bit too often straight to exercise, and if someone's in pain, then
it
you
doesn't
don't want
work.
to do it.
So, yeah, you have to have like enough common sense to say, well, if you're in pain, I'm going to put you through more pain. Well, that doesn't make sense because you're not going to sign up for that, are you? If I say, listen, in half an hour and get your shoulders to move, that goes for anybody who comes to see me. If I don't make your shoulder move in half an hour, you can have your money back. It will move though. It's like, well, you've got to play your part. You've got to do the exercise. You've got to eat the food. Stop being stressed and 16-hour days. Or like we said before, that other guy was like, I'm fasting for 16 hours. As an athlete, you're gonna, it's not gonna work.
Do you ever find someone coming in that you go, not sure what's going on here exactly, or
No. Sometimes it can be more like it's. But even thing, it's like we've had one lad probably in 20 years, and it's actually my mate Paul, and he had myopathy, which is a real strange with spinal cord injury. So it's like there's different things, but when things are not right, you just don't respond. It's like after a couple of sessions, like you need to go and get a scan. It's not right, this and stuff like so. But like I'd say, I mean, like that's 1 in 10,000. I mean, like, so it works for a massive percentage. I don't struggle with neck injuries. I've had stenosis, scoliosis. I've got a prolapse disc, no one's whatsoever. So you've got too much pressure in the quads. What do you mean? Like, well, your prolapse is reacting to. That's what will never heal. You can fix you can have the operation done, but that's not going to fix the injury. The quads are primary, and if you get it's like a roller effect, and the nucleus comes out. But if you get the quads moving, the actual spine will realign itself and sit there quite happily. Then you can convince it, do the lats, do upper body. So that L4-5-3-2-1 is just reactive to the lats. It's reactive to quads, hammies, calves. Once you believe in it, once you see it, you're like when you came in, your eyes lit up. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, and you started moving like you see all the shark coming through. Normally, you're rubbing like trying to start a fire. It's like with the tools, like, oh my god, it's only that. Well, yeah, that's why I designed.
It's gentle with the
It's
big tool.
gentle, yeah. You don't have to dig and dig. It's not you're going to tire yourself out. It's a tiring job. Gua Sha is tiring, but it dates back 6,000 years, and the Romans used to use it and stuff like that. So I'm just doing a modern day version, horse and cart. We've got a Bugatti Veyron and stuff like that. So
Do you have many detractors? Like, do you cop much in terms of the
we used
classic
to.
8?
We used to get a couple loads of flack and loads of stick and stuff like that. So, and I'm like, I just don't argue. I just delete them. I don't bother. I'm not bothered about people's perception of what you think of. I play professional rugby, so people just spit at me, swear at me, and punch me in the head for a living. So it's like I'm not going to be hurt by a few words. I'm like, so, but I know if this works. And again, like the people behind me know it works as well. So it's like, again, we've been in Hello magazine and all kinds of things. So, but it's the same thing. I'm humble, but I'm confident what I do. There's a difference. Like, I know it works. So I know what's out there because as a professional athlete, I've tried, paid other people, chiros, osteopath, and if you're getting results for that, just carry on. I'm not saying you have to come to me. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm not. You can carry on doing what you do, and I'll carry on what I do. And I'll carry on. What everybody comes in, like you saw, has already been to all the others, especially chiro, physio, acupuncture, massage. They come on, well, I go, yes, that there. They go, oh my god, in half an hour, they go, oh my god, it's actually working. I said, yeah, but I didn't guess today. I'm not trying to convince you.
Mm.
You're trying to convince yourself. I'm like, well, for me, it's dead easy. Like, so, but it's like, but everyone makes choices, trainers, cars, whatever. I'm just like, this is my choice of preference to get people paying free. It's a kinetic therapy is like my brainchild, so it's like, well, it's based on
It's all
experience.
pretty exciting, It's like putting new information into the world, or at least
Huge,
developing onto
huge. That's
information, which
why.
is that's a very
That's
cool
why
thing
we
to do.
bounce. That's why I pick you
Yeah.
because I remember I pick and choose. You don't just get to come on a seminar and stuff like that. So if you're shouting and this, that, and there's a nurse at the moment, stuff like that. So I'm in an hour with her and stuff like that. So, but if she plays a bit like Lorraine does, we do bloods now, TRT, we do all kinds of stuff and stuff like she's studying to. We look at the bodies we can't get, especially over 40. Your body will change and stuff like that. So you need like as we talk about hormones, when we really high on that and stuff like that. So we can get the hormones right, then the body will repair and stuff like that. Because you can't give a certain program you know yourself to a 21-year-old to a 40-year-old. It doesn't work like that. The body won't recover as quickly. You need more time in between. So we say squat every 7 to 10, 12 days, depending what food you're on, what stress you're under. And the body's the same. You get past 45, 50, and my cutoff's about 65 because there's a lot of bleeding goes on with what we do. So I'm like, it depends. If you're a bricklayer with a bricklayer in the week, he's 73, but he's still laying bricks. I'm like, he's going to be fine because he's just an absolute animal. He's like still laying bricks at that age, 3 days a week. He's going to be fine. If you're sedentary, you've never had this, you've never had exercise, you've got to watch what you're doing as well.
Do you recommend for people over 65 in terms of that bleeding,
Yeah, yeah,
just to go get lighter Gua Sha,
yeah, yeah.
or the I?
You can, it's just going to take longer, isn't it? It will work, but it's just going to take longer. But people are in pain; they want instant results now and stuff like that. So I kind of cut it off then, stuff like that. So if I know the person, like so, we'll talk to them and stuff like that. So, and some people just don't like it. If they're in pain, they don't want more pain, do they? So they kind of cut like a cut off point and stuff like that. So, but this works and stuff like that. So, but it's just like it's common sense, isn't it?
Well, it sounds like you've sort of spoken about the fact that like back pain for you is not a back issue,
You know, never.
and it sounds like a lot of issues tend to be not where the issue
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific favorites outside of, again, the back's obviously a big one for you? Do you have any areas that you go, oh, like this is an exciting one because I know that it's typically not
Yeah,
XYZ?
if you know, if you can see it straight away and stuff like sometimes you have to dig and you have to look at like if they have an operation, so they've got scars on them. What's that? Like a girl coming in, she fell through glass and she's cut a little finger there, but that's your tricep and T-spine. I know where that attaches to, so I know like your little fingers behind your scapula. So like I know the thumbs like in your tricep as well. And they think I've got pins and needles. You check the neck. I was like, it's not a neck issue, it's a thumb. It's a tricep issue that so once you know you've got like so and eventually the book I'm writing now you've got everything and you go well, I've got like pins and needles in my thumb, it's a tricep issue, isn't it? And the opposite hip, so do the opposite hip, switches off and it tracks because it twists and tracks, doesn't it, across your T-spine, T12 across the T68, then down the fingers. If you cut the supply of pressure off, then you know you're going to get that and you know once so I did the girl today, she's been doing poles. She's 50. She's doing poles still, 2 sessions. I said, "Do you have any more food?" No. When's your food coming? 2 hours later. Well, you're too late. You're going to crash. She did crash next day. She locked her neck up and stuff like that. So just checking around and said, let's look at like your right hamstring, your left shoulder, left lat, then like sternocleidomastoid scales are locked. What they're constantly pushing it against the bar. So I said, you've got an impingement there. So I checked the hamstring. So I need to do 15 minutes on the hamstring next week. Why? Because it'll still track across. So always remember that anybody who's shoulder, check the opposite hamstring quad, you'll see a difference.
Do you ever get people having an interesting or weird experience, whether it be
Yeah,
emotional,
yeah,
gut related,
emotional.
or anything else?
Well, it's frustrating being injured. It's frustrating. Like, you speak to any athlete, they want fixing like no straight away. That's why we get like today's been 7 people, so I can't get you in and getting with Jacob and my staff and that. So, well, you has to be a quality and quantity aspect as well. What we do, you can't go, yeah, it's really good, yeah, but if you keep doing like 10 a day, it's going to be really shit. You have to. Like, I do 4 a day, not unlimited to that, but you get 4 good results. And I'm 50, so it's like I don't want to keep doing like that at that level as well. Like, so I want to keep that quality aspect. Otherwise, you can't get whiskey, water it down, so it's the same whiskey. It's not as different. We've made it different, and that's the same as what we do. But if they do hockey ball, they stretch in the rehab. So we get better at that. I'm better at that now. So, well, I'll give you a program, why? Because it'll fucking work. And you'll do as you're told and you'll get better. And so I don't want to do that. So, well, you're not going to get fixed. You're going to do as you're told. You've got to force that because the PT says that. Is that why you're here? Because your PT, you're going to still listen to something that broke you, that doesn't know not enough about the injury, than to break you again. Or you're going to listen to me, all right, no, so sometimes if you ring the PT, right, stop doing that. You're just breaking your clients.
Mm.
So the biggest one's classes. We see classes and stuff like
Yeah, the
CrossFit.
group stuff. Yeah,
CrossFit's a big one. Like, so you look at like you can't do that while you've used your shoulders 5 times this week. That's shit program. You can't do that.
yeah, the circuit stuff
Yeah, yeah.
ends
So
up making big
we're
issues.
using your shoulders constantly. Well, you see any powerlifter with its legs, its deadlift, its squats. There's a method to the madness. Like, so, yeah, I'm all sorts of like.
What's the most sort of common bits of advice? You've already sort of mentioned briefly, but like food, and there's been some other, even looking at bloods and such. Are there the things that you're constantly repeating to people that you're finding constantly lacking, or things that they need to be looking more into, whether it be to prevent injury itself or to just
Prevention's
help
always
with the
that
recovery
education.
of?
Education shoes in it. So if you keep thinking, if some of the you're gonna get it. You're playing rugby. You're gonna get battered and beat up and stuff like. It's just one of the things. You got to get them moving and stuff like that. So we just put 60 to 80 needles in them and get them moving. You're gonna have to. If you got a race car, it's racing. You're just gonna break down in it. So, but if you're a gym goer, you just well, running's the big one in it. Running, deadlift, squatting, the big three. Running, deadlift, squatting. You'll get injured and stuff like. If you do them all together, you definitely will get injured because your IT bands are always the one that are really dry. They touch your TFL and they just piss off your lat, piss off your shoulder. So you think about it, you see yourself and stuff like you see that when they squat and deadlift and like you have to deadlift. No, we'll cut them two out. You don't. You can leg press and you can think there's the hyperextension. You don't have to uh, uh, squat and deadlift. Running, do you have to run? You can bike, cross trainer, stepper. You can walk. There's definitely other options. But if you want to run, have more because you see them coming in. Runners are predominantly IT bands and quads. They're ruined, don't they? They come in, they just mangle the backs are always really tight. They always want to do is run. And then you say to them, "Can you go in the gym and do some like light deadlift, trap bar deadlift? Can you do some light squats, kettlebell? I don't want to be that big, so I don't want to." You say to them, like, "I don't want you to squat that heavy neither. I want you to activate the muscle." It's full range of more eccentric, asymmetric. So once you start squatting and dead, you can actually get to move, and it's a massive one to flush the quads as well. So they need these things. Oh my god, I'm running better, yeah, because your muscles, you've got more muscle on you, but you can store more glycogen. So you store more glycogen,
Mm.
you can actually run further, and the times come down where you're not burning your nervous system. You don't drive your car at 9,000 revs. And people say I'm running 4 times a week. Well, run twice a week. Get on the bike for half an hour. Get on the stepper. They love that one. Like get on the
The
revol-
stepper, yeah.
revolving stepper for half an hour. You'll see a difference. They go, oh my god, it's amazing. Now hockey ball your glutes, stretch. I mean, so do some calves and hammy work, some quad work. They go, I'm recovering back because you're not burning the same. You wouldn't go in the gym and train shoulders every day, wouldn't you? Well, why do you fucking run 5 times a week? Right, and they go, oh my god. When you say it to them, like they go, otherwise they don't understand. You don't go, please, can you just? I said, do what you're told. Oh, fuck off. It's like they have to be told a certain way. If they're doing stupid things, then I'm going to treat you shit like you're stupid. It's like well, got me wrong. I played professional rugby for 17 years. Like I've got 9 broken noses and 9 concussions. It's like so. It's like well, I'm not the cleverest out the box person, but like you learn. I wish I knew now when I was 17, 16.
It's always the way. Youth is wasted on the young.
If I was 16 now as a professional athlete,
Mm.
there would be some athlete because I know, especially if I had me treating me or my staff, it's like it's such a powerful thing to be. If you get the younger can get hold of them, like the young girl at 17G, who's the she plays at Saints. She's Australian. In the international team next couple of years. She's a good kid as well. She's such a powerful athlete as well. But she gets at your hockey ball to give her a recovery ball for a groin and vastus medialis. I said to her, "You hockey ball?" And yeah, I was like, I can see. because there's nothing in there. So I
Mm.
treat a lat, treat a calf, which is always hard to do, and hammy. So I do hammies, calves, lats, and shoulder, neck. It's, oh my god, it's so good. She had like a clash with the girls of the week and stuff like that. I said like, and her lat was uh, the lat was firing and stuff for T-spine. I said, you had any lower injuries? And I said, what's that? Oh, one of the girls kicked me, so anyway, scraped that and a lat let go and a T-spine let go. So I did a bit of a thing. You should get pain behind the ear, behind her eye, because football is like you're twisting the gate constantly. Yeah, rugby's kind of like you straight on. Football, you can't constantly ripping the gate. You split because you kick. Uh, you're sticking your leg out really far, and you so the gate's still not ripping itself apart in it. So the rugby, you kind of lock it in and just aim up and you're trying to survive the impact. Yeah, so the shoulders and head, that area gets knocked in. But with football, you're constantly lunging at you to reach for the tackle. You're stabilizing on one leg, you're kicking with the other, so you're constantly moving the gate up and down and around. So it's very different. There,
So
watching.
you're really sort of believing, I guess, that the body is sort of holding the story of your life.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
So
that's
you,
really how you're
yeah,
treating it, as
you
opposed
get a
to
bricklayer in, you're gonna ask like, well, that arm's doing all the work in it, so they're bent over, so you know the quads are tight.
tool belt on the
Yeah,
front,
tool,
tipping.
yeah, 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 yeah. So you like it's a plasterer, same thing. It's a joiner, same thing, hammering. So you know one foot's gonna be planted in because you have to plant that foot to stabilize that, don't you? You can't do it the opposite way around. It doesn't work like so. Once you understand and you break things down, it's not just like reading the notes. It's like look at the person in front of you. You're like, well, yeah, I can see that. I can make a difference. That you can see it sometimes. Give you some rehab with it. Well, in 15 minutes, I'm gonna get you moving. Yeah, I can.
Are there any types of resources that you sort of went through yourself in building up this knowledge, or is it just scattered
It's
with
just
people?
scattered through experience through having physiotherapy for 17 years playing rugby. You're around it every day. And the needling's my technique as well. We do multi-dry needling, kinetic multi-dry needling. So we put 50 to 80 needles in any part. So you've got a hamstring injury.
How long do you leave those in for?
About 35 minutes. I leave them about 35 minutes. I always like give them a bit of a tickle with the tools after, just to make sure. But even a fresh tear, get the thing because it's just the damage is already done. It's not going to do anything. There's a little bruise around it, but it'll take all the pressure on the nerve, the neuronal side of it. It just feels so much better. Shoulder injury. Put 50 needles in a shoulder. You'll see the
For
difference.
acute injuries, you'll
Yeah,
tend to
yeah,
go
yeah,
for
yeah,
needles
yeah.
quite
So
often.
people say ice. I say needles. As in, well, you're going to come and test it, see who's best. Come on, we can learn from each other. I'm always one of them as well. Oh yeah, I've learned something today. But trust me, I spent 17 years icing my leg and stuff like that. I did nothing compared to like what 50 needles will do. Put 50 needles in an area, acute area, it just takes all the pressure out. The knee, the calf, the foot, the quad, the shoulder, spine, especially spine. Spines are like they love the needles and stuff, like, especially lower back. You can get enough in there. The lines of 10. I do 4 lines of 10, 3 lines of 10. They get up, they go, oh my God, my back feels because it's all
Mhm.
soft, pliable. It's like a sponge, it's like dough in it. You got to knead it. The same thing with needles. They do work. They do work really well. So, but you've got to. The Chinese again, they're 5,000 years old, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're not going to argue with their way of life. They don't. We're all saying like, well, vitamin C, vitamin D, and all that kind of thing. And they say, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. So food first.
Yeah, it's usually this is where there's always a little bit of the breakdown with you want to obviously push whatever's going on in the science, but at the same time, when you've got these historical
Yeah, yeah,
practices that have been around for far longer than we've even been
yeah, yeah, yeah,
utilizing the
yeah, yeah,
scientific method, you're going, well, technically one has a much greater
yeah,
advantage
yeah.
and much more likely that there's enough wisdom passed
Yeah.
down across time as
That's why
well.
we question what's in your bread. Why do you eat sourdough instead of like normal bread that lasts 6 weeks? Like, well, I'm not eating that because I know it's like I can't even pronounce what the first. I eat sourdough and stuff because my gut and stuff like because I know it's going to digest like goat's milk and full fat milk and full fat butter. There's no processes to that, but you're going to digest that. You're trying to make muscles recover. If your kidneys, your spleen, and all your rest of your organs trying to get rid of all that rubbish, and then to produce, you're not going to produce a healthy muscle, are you? So grow your butchers and grass-fed beef, line caught salmon.
Because every cell has to be replaced, it gets replaced by something, and that's the
Yeah,
food that you
we
put
we
into
talk
it.
about
And
like you want to eat spam and you've got a steak there. You will no, because that's a better.
yeah,
These steaks like a fresh, like wild steak and stuff like that. It's grass fed. The difference in that there's no process, no chemicals.
that's what my one bit of advice, because I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that, of
No, no,
course.
no,
But
no.
my one bit of advice for anything compared to anything else is just read the label every single time,
Yeah, yeah,
because
huge, yeah,
if
huge.
only if that's the only
Yeah,
thing you
yeah,
do,
yeah,
you'll at least start to pick up. Well, there's 12 things I have no idea what that means.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not putting that into my body.
Yeah, what would you put on your body? Your body's got to digest that and stuff like that. And again, I'm not a nutritionist, but some of my mates are the best in the world. So you guess what? I'll just go on for and ask them. Like so, because they work with elite, well, women's rugby and stuff like. Amy's just run that, and Graham they won the Lions tour, which is a bit of a sore subject, hasn't it? But like, so they won the Lions in Australia, didn't they?
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. So
Well,
Graham, my mate was head of nutrition there. Don't get me wrong, it's like, and you look at what they've achieved, but Australia's done well and stuff. Like you look at the team they are now and stuff. They've had to lose to come back again, but the last test they played as well is like, mate, they're an amazing team. Well, you're not gonna the Aussies don't lie down and stuff like that. So such a thing. We'll soon see when they come home, they kick the shit out of us with the ashes and stuff like that. So,
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
mate, it's just like me, like my heart says my own country, but my money says Australia.
I won't be taking that bet either. So
No, it's like but it's one of them. Like so, but you watch the best in the world. What they're doing, well, what can I learn from them? You don't watch anybody that's never achieved what you're trying to achieve, do you? But
well, what I found very interesting so far as well is that in the UFC, it's one of my sports that I follow more than anything
yeah,
else
yeah,
in the mixed
yeah,
martial arts world, and you'll see even leading up to the fight, you'll see the cupping bruises. That's quite a common
yeah, yeah.
technique that's I guess used
Just because
within that domain.
they've never had kinetic therapy, that's why.
I'm interested. I'll be very. I'll start to chuckle to
Yeah,
myself when I
yeah,
start to
yeah,
see more and more of these
yeah,
just sort of
yeah.
large bruising
There's
type pieces
there's
coming up through.
oh, so we'll try cupping and come try kinetic. Well, Tom Blackledge is up there, and like so. I treated Tom 10 years UFC, and Max Scanlon's 10 years UFC. I treat both of them as well. So they've retired now, so like they love what we do and stuff like that. So it's one of them, you can never convince the right. But if you benefit from that, I was like, well,
Mm.
if you benefit from eating spam and like blue top, whatever you benefit from, then carry on doing it. Like so.
Well, this is obviously one of those techniques where people will be cautious and squeamish because of what it looks like and the potential for it to be painful. But one of the important questions that I'm sure you get asked, and I'll also ask you, what are the most common? But is it painful?
It can be, yeah. It can be painful and stuff like that. So, but it's not painful as a loss, is it? Like the pain of the loss is more prevalent to the not trying, isn't it? So it's I always say it's which you get the bill for regret. So as in, but it does work. We say like just have with me. You see how quick I am. I'm ultra quick and stuff like that. So just be brave for half an hour. And like you can hate me, you can swear at me. I don't care. Let's get you fixed and stuff like that. So you can swear at me all day. I don't care. Let's get you fixed and that. But you've got to rub hard enough to break this because some people like we get like under 50 kilo under 50 kilo bodybuilders and powerlifters on the bed. What's Tom Smith's? Was he under 25 kilos? He can stiff leg deadlift 300 for five. So he gives you an idea. He's stiff leg deadlift. He's got like a 385 dead and 365 squat. You're gonna think you're gonna give him a nice gentle tickle when he comes in. He's like, "You ready for this, love?" He's like, "I hate you. I just don't know why I'm here." I said, "You do. I'm gonna fix you." As he gets on the bed, I'm like, "Oh my god!" And the elbow. Oh, not the elbow. So it's like, yeah. So but he gets off the bed. I just hate you, but it works. And he sends me. But again, you get some good recommendations. Like Shannon's a world champion. She was another one. Like, she came in with had been a hip injury for 6 years, and 3 sessions later, she's not got a hip injury. So it does work and stuff. But like I said, I'm not going to convince you to have it if you don't want it. You've got to try it and then make your own mind up. Like,
It's a lot easier as well when you've got a wall of champions essentially
yeah, yeah,
behind you, in
that's the reason.
metaphorically as is
Yeah,
it is right there.
that's just a few. Like we've got to put another 20, 30 on there and stuff like that. But that's not being bigger. It just convince you that it does work. It's not like that's what we do. We do like same as we put the shirts up and stuff like that. Just listen. There's a story behind it. And everybody's interested. If you're interested in football, rugby, we've always got like somebody from like skiing, or we've got some like somebody will find you out and stuff like that. So like Paul came in the day. Paul's ex-firefighter, he's a businessman, done really well and stuff like that. So we had back pain for 30 years. Took me 2 sessions to fix it. Just 2 sessions. Glutes weren't working. Sent me to Tom. Tom's a really good S&C. He's now in Dubai and actually worked with in Liverpool. So I said, like, I can do this, but Tom's better at it. That's me recognizing that as well. Don't get wrong, I'm a gym goer, but Tom's a really good. I haven't got time to do it neither. So Tom did that for me. He did the glute work for me. No, he still does it. And he comes in for his maintenance and stuff like that. So it's but after 30 years of back pain, it took me 2 sessions. That is it.
How does it compare with non-athletes? Because
It's just the same. You can be a non-athlete, but you can be like if you're a builder and brick, like you're going to work hard, aren't you? Your body's still under the same pressure and stuff like that. So a big one for them is food. We say to them, when you last eat, oh well, don't eat for 6 hours. No, you need to eat every 4 hours. As soon as you run out of glycogen, your body's knackered in it, so it goes really hard. You have to fuel your journey, and it's just that advice as well. Don't take water, take juice. Well, when you sweat, it's salt. That's what the dog licks, isn't it? It's after the salt. If you're losing salt, you have to replace salt. Water is not good enough. So that little tip, like take 2 liters of juice, have your brekkie in the morning, then have your dinner, and have your tea. Like that difference makes a huge. When they come in, it's like it's that easy to treat them. Then you give them a gym program, a rehab program, and we treat them. It's like it's so much easier. You just get wrapped up in the moment in your head. It's like no, make time to eat because you just end up shoveling shit. Your job. Most we look at rugby and stuff. Like the most mistakes are done in the last last 5, 10 minutes of the game. And the
hmm
body's the same. If you think about it, if a builder, I'm working 40 nowadays. Now Sweden has just done it. Sweden's gone on 4 days. There's more productivity, more quality work. We don't work 40 hours. We do 35, 36 hours in 4 days. We get 3 days off to recover. Then we come back to work better. So more time away from work. Like you know yourself, it's like I'm tired. I'm grumpy. I'm going now. You can actually get ill as well. You look at somebody's programming, like the life program. So I mean, hours you sleep in 4, you can't do it.
I remember in back at school days, we used to have it was training every day, 7 days a week,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was
yeah,
about
yeah,
nine sessions because you do one in the morning, one in the
yeah,
afternoon, some days a week. And looking back now they've stopped doing that, and
yeah,
you're like, wait a second, when did our bodies
yeah,
have
yeah.
time to recover at that point?
Graham from England Rugby, Graham played at Warrington with me. He played at Super League at 17 and stuff like that. So, and he's the same and stuff like that. So we used to play like 3, 4 games a week. You're like, I was professional. Like you play the academy game at Warrington, then you come back, then you be. It just doesn't make any sense. You're playing like 3, 4 games a week. You're like, yeah, it's one game a week. You try and preserve the body. And then they had a similar problem at Everton, who have microfractures in the spine and stuff like that. So it's just food. Food. Well, the kids are doing 38,000 steps a day. Where do you get 3,500 calories into a 12-year-old, 13-year-old? It's so hard. You can't do that. You can't. Your expenditure's here and your food's here. You can't do that. So you got to look after. You don't drive a car with 200,000 miles on stuff like that. So he's not got enough fuel. He's not got enough service. He's going to break down, isn't it? Like, so you got to look after your body. You got to understand what your journey is and stuff like that. So and it starts at 12, 13. Then that's why my dad's 73. Go to the gym every day, but his dinner and breakfast and tea is perfect and stuff like that. So, Greek yogurt, honey, prunes, all the stuff, all the good stuff, green tea, honey, it's all that. And he can bench, deadlift, and squat 100 kilos. I treat him every month and stuff like that. So we can still bench, deadlift, and squat 100 kilos. He front squats 100 kilos.
Staying young.
Yeah, yeah, staying young, stuff like that. So we treat him differently and stuff like that. So
Uh,
it is possible.
I thought we might hit a couple well-known, I guess, conditions that people have, and then we'll start to get ready to wrap it up, I
Yeah.
think. So quick shout out for plantar fasciitis. What's your, I bet you don't have to give us the exact, but like what's a rough look at what you would do for something?
Plantar fasciitis is like it's your vastus medialis rectum sartorius, which is the inside of the foot reacts on blood flow from greater trochanter on the medial, on the lateral side, the 3 toes, your little toe, the 3 toes, the 3 metatarsals inwards is your hamstring calf. So you get quads moving primary. It's like plumbing in it, like so you can't get blood flow through the hip flexor. It's never going to get. People treat the calves. Well, it is important. So, but if you can't get blood flow, you treat the calf. You still have to get blood flow through the quad to get to the calf. Vice versa. So if you're treating a quad, you have to treat the calf first upwards. So if you get the hip flexor moving, you find an impingement there. And checking all previous shoulder injury as well. So you're looking at because in the foot's overworking at some point, and it's like a blood flow to the area. So it's like it could be IT bands, it's lateral, vastus medialis, vastus lat. You're looking at like for a primary injury in the quad or hamstring once you find it. So and then when you find it, it'll cramp. When you find the quad, vastus medialis is medial, vastus lat, IT bands lateral and stuff like that. So once you find the quad, you'll find it straight away. Within 30 seconds, like, yeah, it's there. Stuff like
Okay.
you'll find the hips impinged. So once you find that and try it, it's like hockey ball the rec firm, spend half an hour and get up, test your squat, your heel will go out from that, and it'll do that. Stuff like that. But it's an easy one, stuff like that. So
All right. We'll shoot up to sciatica.
sciatica's like opposite hip, opposite shoulder. So you got opposite hip impingement, opposite shoulder. Try that if you're a therapist. Undo the opposite shoulder first right down to like T12, just above T6. Try that first because the energy swaps normally right hand side, so your left foot's planted for your right hand. Constantly, you do it thousands and thousands of times, and the hip and shoulder is connected. Hamstring's reactive to the opposite side. And without undoing that, you can needle the sciatic side, you can see the bicep femoris and the calf, but once the calf gets involved with that needs treatment as well. It gets really crystallized, real deep scar tissue. You know yourself.
Mm.
Oh my, it crunches like mad. Well, the tools will get through it. You just gotta be gentle, get everything moving. Loads and loads of calf raises, hammer curls.
Uh,
It's dead easy, like so.
Next part of the lightning round, tennis elbow or golfer's elbow. You can take your pick.
Yeah, dead easy. Lat, and it's you look for the lat, don't you? T spine lat. So you're looking at like an opposite hamstring. So your left hamstring, right hamstring normally, left shoulder. You look at the T spine, and the T spine will lock up and it'll twist itself round because the hamstring's higher here, so it's kind of locking itself downwards. So you look at the back of the scapula, how the tricep asserts, long head, short head. It's like, well, there's not very much difference in length. You're looking at them, they wrap into the elbow, so it's a real dry tendon. But once you get the tools behind there, both your T spine, it bleeds downwards. That's when you get that. Oh my god, I can feel it in my little thing, my little thumb. Well, that's your both triceps fighting each other and stuff like that. Well, dead easy that one. It don't half hurt as well. You get benching and stuff like that, so shoulder press or CrossFitters get that. So but it's a dead straightforward. Half an hour, you'll hate me, but you'll move a little bit. So it
La-
means gentle and do it over 2 sessions.
we hit the last two very common ones. Just always tight shoulder traps.
Traps are reactive to triceps, aren't they? So triceps lats. They just track around the back of the scapula, and they'll pinch in the back of the head here. The traps can't do anything, stuff. They get overworked, don't they? So, well, you know, with tools, I did yours, didn't I?
Mm,
I did yours. Once you break it down, it feels so much better.
beautiful.
It just feels, it's just the relief you get is huge. And you're talking half an hour to actually get them moving. But if you've got a tricep issue, you're always going to get like flicker in the eye, behind the head here, like an impingement there, dead straightforward. But because the tools are so sharp, once you get the trap and lat moving, like the arc of the lat and stuff like that, so it's like the scapula runs downwards, done it. Get them rotators moving because that drives onto the anterior as well. It produces energy and stuff like that. So, but it's dead straightforward. If you see me do it, it's like, yeah, it's that. You go, yeah, it's okay. But again, treat the hamstring as well. You have to, otherwise it compensates the opposite side. Like so.
And last one, which is it's probably a little bit more complex or not as specific as the other ones, is just general headaches.
Migraines are like they can be hormonal as well. We've got a few girls who come in and they follow the cycles of period and stuff like that. So as you get older, the body changes, but that's food as well. You've got to eat enough food to actually get through this and stuff. You speak to women, they don't eat enough predominantly, so but it will follow. But migraines are 98% success rate. Once you get them moving, the top of your head, that's why you can do brain surgery. The top of head's no feeling, hasn't it?
Mm.
They're actually just
Yeah,
reactive
receptors.
to like behind the eyes, tricep, and that in the jaw and stuff like so. That area there, it's like it's anterior deltoid. Once you get the shoulders moving again, the facial just lets go. Your face lets go and stuff like so. But yeah, lats, traps. You work your way through, and you find like the shoulder being pinged or whatever. It puts pressure on the sternocleidomastoid. It locks your neck in and stuff like that. So we track down the sternocleid. You've seen us do that.
Mm.
But you can work the whole neck area. Now, obviously, then your quads and calves and hammies, and you get everything moving as well and stuff like. Depending on you track the history, previous leg, previous shoulder, broken leg, any ACLs, anything like your lower back pain, anything like. And they go right, yeah, because you'll see the shift. It normally favors one side. The migraines normally favor one side and stuff like that. So, but you can track them back. And it's not. You don't need pills or tablets, but keep your water high and stuff like that. So obviously, like so. People say I've got a migraine. Drink any water today? No. Well, go and drink some water. It's like it's just sometimes you have to
Or
put
juice. Yeah.
juice, yeah,
Yeah.
drink some juice and stuff like that. So water, juice and stuff like that. So it's
Get the
so
pulp
important.
up.
Get your salt. Salt is so important. It's like if you flatline and stuff like that, the first thing the hospital do is trying to get 2 saline solutions of salt into you. That's the whole predominant. That was the whole salt is so healthy. So like Himalayan rock salt, pink sea salt, anything like that. So anything with high, because as an athlete, you got to get salts back into you, that cramping, that feeling, that so
Mm.
need you to recover to play and to train again. So far, that's just general life. If you've got a 16-hour day, eat, drink water, drink juice, rest as well. Don't keep pushing the same. Don't keep pushing that hard and stuff like that. So your body will break. And then obviously, like yeah, it follows patterns and stuff like migraines as well.
Mm.
So
Well, that was a very good lightning round. We'll finish up with where do you see kinetic therapy
I don't
moving
know.
in the future?
I don't know and stuff like that. So it's like trying to me. I'm at the tether end and stuff like that. It took me 20 years to get to where I am and stuff like that. I've not got the energy to keep moving the company forward. But for people like you, it's like it's ideal because there's a job opportunity for you to
Mm.
Australia. So you're passionate. You know this works. So as long as I can see you doing well and kinetic therapy doing well, but it's like we can get people trained up, and it's an answer to the pain. It's not always, it never is pill scans, operations. It's always like, well, we have a 95% success rate with all injuries as well. So, but for you, it's like my journey is now to teach you for the next 5 years and stuff like that. So you can actually go out and then teach Australia what kinetic therapy is and stuff like that. So that's up to me to mentor you and stuff like that. So you've got all the tools in the box to actually go out there and actually teach us and pass the word on. We want people to be paying for it. The basic thing is like I retired from sport. I didn't have to retire. It took 5 years, and it's so frustrating. If
Mm.
you're in pain, it's a break. Like we've got lads who changed my job. This, that, that. You don't have to. It's just not. It's not that complicated and stuff like that. Because in a half an hour, you'll feel so much better. And it's the longer you're in pain, the more mentally you suffer as well, mental torture. So you think you straight, oh, I've been in pain for it. Listen, like you'll be fine. It's a normal injury. Oh my god, I've tried loads of things. Give me half an hour, you'll be pain free. And that's it. But for me to teach you all this, well, put you in charge of the Australian kinetic therapy base. Well, that's up to the thing. It's like, I'm not gonna come over and stuff like that, start doing all that. But if you can get the next generation to believe in it, then you can create a like-minded people to surround yourself, and we can get the message across. So,
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's very exciting because at the end of the day, I mean, you're passing on the thing that you didn't have. As you said, you sort of the
yeah, yeah,
wall of people behind you, plus an extension of that of
yeah,
people that don't have to retire,
yeah.
but may have
Future,
had to consider at some point in
yeah,
time, and stuff like this has obviously allowed them to continue, which is it's a very cool thing to pass on, something that you didn't get to have. So hopefully, it can continue on that sort of lineage as
yeah.
well
So
moving
yeah,
forward.
huge. This is exactly what you said. Yeah, it's just like it's a lineage of like knowledge, and we'll pass that on to you and pass it on to everybody else. And like so, as you see them grow as well, it's amazing feeling when you like you teach somebody how to do it. They go, oh my god. I've got my dad pain free. I've got my mate, and they're telling everybody else and stuff. That's yeah, brilliant. I get a buzz out of that. It's like it's not all that it's not mine. Well, I want to pass this on so everybody knows this knowledge and stuff. That's so we can get everybody pain free. It's a gift. It's like so. The gift is yours.
I'm very happy to take it on. Now, looking forward to the future. Thank you very much for chatting with us today as well.
Welcome,
I know it's very late here, so I'm not sure we'll be doing this anytime in the near future in person. I hope to chat to you again shortly.
You never know.
Appreciate it. Cheers, man.
Cheers, buddy.